After we've been doing e-discovery for many years, it may seem like we got our stuff together and everyone is on the same page about best practices and how things should be done. But I can assure you that is not the case. There are many people that will argue that certain things should be done one way or completely the other way. And today I want to start a series of possibly a few videos where I want to cover some of the items that people argue about that should be done one way or the other and what their arguments are. So let's start with the first video today and talk about 3 topics that I have on my list. Now I want to start with some of the technical topics first and then move on to, well, less technical. So let's start with processing. And different companies I worked at and different people I speak to, they have different attitude how the quality control of processing should be done. So the 2 extremes I'm familiar with is, this one person I worked with, his attitude was like, I'm going to click a button to start processing. Whatever gets processed, gets processed. Whatever software handles, it handles. If it doesn't handle, it doesn't handle. I'm here to click a button and let the software do its thing. If something errors out or there is a problem, that's what it is. On the other hand, I hear vendors talking about QC in every file, every single problem. And that is very time consuming and very laborious. And they said, yes, they absolutely do it because that's their client's expectations. We have to look at every warning message of the Word document, produce an error message, you need to open it, make sure it's good. If zip file cannot be extracted, you gotta try it with WinZip, 7-zip, WinRAR, and you gotta be absolutely sure that it couldn't be extracted. Every single error message and problem needs to be looked at, investigated, and needs to be hands-on to make sure everything is absolutely perfect and you're completely covering your butt on every single exception. Now, my personal opinion here is, of course, there should be a balance between the two. I don't think we should let the software just do its thing without any checks, but at the same time, I wouldn't go and check every single problem or every single error. If software reported an error, it's most likely for a reason. You're looking for patterns, you're looking for things you already expect, out of memory or weird things like that, that you need to catch and retry or do something else with. And the next item is handling system files or non-user generated files. On one hand, you have people who would say, like, as soon as they see a system file in their review environment, they'll be like, why is this file here? This is not a user-generated file. I shouldn't be seeing this. Why are you wasting my time? Everything that's not user-created should be excluded. We don't want to see it. This is garbage. Just give me the good stuff so I can concentrate on reviewing like real documents. And then the other people would say, no. We need to account for every single file. Every file that you have has to be loaded, has to be accounted for. We want to see everything, every weird extension, anything that you have has to be cataloged, processed, text extracted, and we need to see it, and it has to be in the inventory somewhere. So what's my opinion on system file non-user generated files? Well, if the client sends me like a zip file with files to process, or I get them on a hard drive, I process everything, right? Anything that is given to us should be included in processing because it's very easy to filter it out later. However, if we receive an image of a hard drive, that's the time we'll engage a client and say, like, look, perhaps you're gonna get too much junk in here. Let's see if we can do some kind of pre-filtering ahead of time, just so you don't have all the system and DLL files and such. And delisting doesn't really help in that situation too much. It removes some files, but not enough in my opinion. So if there is a hard drive image, then I start talking to client about excluding system files and such. But if it's just regular data and there are few system files here and there, I just process as is and we can deal with that later. And the third item I have for this video is how should we index for searching. And the 2 arguments are, you should index extracted text of the document by itself, or should you index extracted text and all the metadata together. Now, the 2 different sides of it argue that, the text of a document, that's really what we're looking for, that's all that matters, and we don't want to get any false hits from non-relevant metadata or from things like folder names. If the folder name has a keyword, then all the documents in that folder will be hits, right? And people who want to index metadata, they say, no, we need to index everything because any word that's present anywhere in the metadata could be relevant, and well, all the metadata has to be included in the full text index. Now, I don't really have an opinion on that because I don't actually handle searching as much, so I don't really know. All right, guys, so let me know what you think. How much effort should we put into quality control of processing? Should we include unknown files for reviewers to look at? And should we index metadata when creating full text index? Don't forget to follow on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.